She's testing you. You felt it. That cold shift in her tone. The sudden silence. The distance that wasn't there yesterday. And you wonder, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth. It's not about what you did. It's about what you project. She's not pulling away to hurt you. She's pulling away to see what you're made of. This isn't a game of love. This is a test of strength. And most men? They fail before they even realize they were being tested. But not you. Not after today. Part 1. Women watch with instinct, not intellect. A woman doesn't consciously analyze you with a checklist. She feels your presence. She absorbs your energy. She notices the tiniest cracks in your composure. You flinch when she challenges you. You chase when she pulls back. You explain yourself when she gives silence. And in that instant she sees it, weakness. Not because you're not a good person, but because you failed to remain centered when it mattered most. Here's what you need to understand. She is biologically wired to detect whether you can lead, protect, and withstand pressure. Not just from the world, but from her. Because if you break under her emotional waves, how will you handle life's storms? Part 2. The moment you chase, you lose. From childhood, you were told to win affection by being nice. Be polite. Be agreeable. Be available. But here's the truth. Availability is not the same as value. When you chase, when you overtext, when you explain and apologize for things you didn't even do, you're saying, please see my worth. But a man who knows his worth? He doesn't ask to be seen. The moment you start to orbit her, rather than your purpose, you become replaceable. Because the second she senses that her approval affects your emotional state, you've handed over your power. Part 3. Why emotionally unshakable men are irresistible. Ask yourself this. Who commands the room without saying a word? It's not the loudest man. It's not the flashiest dresser. It's the man who doesn't flinch, no matter what. Emotional control is magnetic. Women don't want a robot. They want a man who feels, but who remains anchored. When she tests your patience, when she throws drama your way, when she gets quiet just to see if you'll chase, you pass the test not by reacting, but by holding your frame. Because when you stay grounded, you tell her, you don't control me. I choose how I move. And that message? That's what earns respect. Part 4. The cycle that destroys attraction. Here's how most men destroy what was working. 1. She gets distant. 2. They panic. 3. They overcompensate. 4. She loses respect. Over and over again. But what she's really doing is simple. She's trying to see if you're emotionally dependent on her reaction. That's all. If your mood, your confidence, your day crumbles the moment she withdraws her attention. She knows you are not the man you presented yourself to be. And trust me, once a woman sees you as emotionally fragile, the attraction doesn't fade, it vanishes. What to do when she pulls away? You don't fight it. You don't explain. You don't chase. You pause. You observe. And most importantly, you detach. Here's the exact strategy. Stop initiating contact. It goes silent. Not to manipulate, but to stabilize. Shift all your attention to your path, your purpose, your progress. Because the man who doesn't flinch when she creates distance is the man who earns her deepest, most primal respect. She's expecting you to fold. She's waiting for you to beg. But when you don't, you reframe the dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one questioning her actions. She's the one feeling the pull. Because stillness is louder than desperation. Part 6. You don't need to be cold, just unshakable. Let's be clear. This isn't about being heartless. It's not about being distant to prove a point. It's about being so secure in who you are that her emotional tests don't rock your foundation. You can be kind. You can love deeply. You can even be vulnerable. But never at the cost of your frame. If you let her moods dictate your movement, you'll always be 2 steps behind, and eventually, out of her life completely. But if you keep walking forward, with clarity, purpose, and self-respect, she'll realize one thing. You're the kind of man who doesn't need her. You simply chose her. And that difference? That's what creates unshakable attraction. Finally, you don't earn respect by proving yourself. You earn it by refusing to break. When she pulls back, hold your ground. When she tests, stay centered. When your emotions flare, breathe and remain calm. Because at the end of the day, the man who cannot be moved is the man she'll never want to lose. Comment, I hold my frame, if you're done chasing. And if this message woke something up in you, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the world doesn't need more emotionally reactive men. It needs more men who lead, who love with strength, and who never, ever fold.